Well, to discuss this, I'm joined now from Warsaw by Dominik Tarczynski, a member of the Polish Parliament representing the ruling Law and Justice Party. He's also Vice President of the European Conservatives Group in the Council of Europe. And Daniel Bartha is the Director of the Group Centre for Euro-Atlantic Integration and Democracy. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Daniel, let me start with you. So it seems as if the EPP wants to expel FIDESZ.
Thank you.
And Viktor Orban saying, well, we might leave ourselves. Is this a real crisis?
I don't think it is a crisis, but this is not a new thing. So those who want to expel FIDESZ from the European People's Party are the same parties that have criticized before FIDESZ a number of times. The question is how to deal with European party politics following the European parliamentary elections and ahead of the parliamentary elections. Now we see the campaign phase, and in the campaign, European People's Party has to show that they are finally taking an action, because this is a demand coming from most of the media channels in Western Europe. Do something against FIDESZ. And now, seemingly, they are doing a move which looks very well in the current campaign. The question, what happens after the European parliamentary elections? And I think the chance for expelling FIDESZ is much higher following the elections, or FIDESZ might voluntarily leave following the elections.
Okay, so Dominik, does the EPP have a point where if you want to be a part of this group, you have to, at the very least, share some of the values? So they look at the Hungarians and they see those posters, for example, of Juncker and George Soros and this idea that they're just bringing in all these refugees and destroying European civilization. Does the EPP have a point in feeling that FIDESZ is not playing by the rules of the club or the group?
So where was the point, EPP point, throughout these years? They just found out that Orban is not sharing their values? Of course not. It's all about their panic. They know they're going to lose these elections. They know the Prime Minister Orban will send his people to the other fraction. He's going to join probably our group, European Conservatives. And what they're trying to say, in their panic, they're trying to say, oh, he's not sharing our values. What about these values throughout these years? Something's changed? Hypocrisy, that's what it's called. They are panicking. They know that they're going to lose, and then trying to keep their face and their dignity now, saying, okay, we don't want him, he's bad. New parliament, European Parliament will be just a shake of the air for the leftists. It's going to be completely different. And I might run, probably I will run, and believe me, they are not waiting for me.
Right, okay, so you are running. Can you confirm that?
Probably.
Okay, well, you heard it here first.
Highly probable.
Okay, highly probable. What would you want? Do you want an alliance with the likes of yourself, FIDESZ, Le Pen, Salvini, Austria's Freedom Party? Is that what you want? Is that the type of European group that you want?
I tell you what I want. I tell you what I want. What I want is a European Union and the Europe as a continent, which is origin, which is coming back to the roots. I want Europe as it should be. I don't want any kind of new civilization in Europe. I want Christian Europe. Europe was always Christian. That's what it is.
So
Christian
you want
culture,
nativist,
Christian law,
populist
Greek philosophers.
European Union.
This is what Europe is about. It's not. It has nothing to do with populism. It's all about our identity. You can change your clothes, you can change your makeup, you cannot change your DNA. Our DNA is Christianity, by the faith, by the culture, by the law. So you cannot change your DNA. It's like you would say to someone in Saudi Arabia that their roots, their veins, their blood is Christianity. I'm wondering how they would react. This is Christian culture. This is Christian continent. It has to stay Christian. We have to defend it. And I will defend it in European Parliament if our voters will decide it. So it's very important for the next generations to care about our identity. And identity is much more than politics in 2019. Identity as a past and a future. So we have to remember about it.
Daniel, to what extent is that view more prevalent in the year 2019, what we just heard from Dominik?
Well, it's valid for Poland, but I wouldn't say it's valid for all the European countries. I mean, we have the Christian culture, and this is something we share, and mostly this is what the conservatives are very much emphasizing. But the truth is that most of the people are not following any religion in the European Union. Most of the people in Hungary are not religious. So their motivation is characterized by the motivation related to religion. But it's true, the majority supports the idea of protecting the cultural values and Christian cultural values of Europe. That's true. But probably the real question right now in FIDESZ, whether to support a federal Europe, a sovereignist Europe of nation states. I think this is the real dividing line right now, and Hungary and Poland is supporting the idea of stronger role of nation states working together in the European Union and not supporting a federal Europe.
No, what about Italy? What about Czechs? What about Slovakia? It's more than 2 countries. It's not only Poland and Hungary. It's much more. And you will see after these elections, after the election in May, many more countries will join Poland. And Poland will be a real leader. We are becoming a leader in Europe now. We are coming back to the roots, and many more will join us. You'll see the new European Parliament will be completely changed. European Commission will be completely changed. And the direction will be completely changed. We have enough of Germany and French who are ruling the rest like babies. We want European Union. We want to be the part of the European Union. Law and Justice was always in favor of the European Union, but we want to be the partners, not the small children. Now the time is changed. You'll see in May what's going to happen in European Parliament.
Daniel?
Well, public opinion polls a little bit suggest something different, and that suggests that although radical forces will gain more power in the European Parliament, but generally the change will be not vital. This is what the public opinion polls show. Well, the question is whether the party system will remain, and that's, I think, an important question. What also Prime Minister Orbán suggests that the dividing lines, the party structures that existed before, might be just the historical ones. And there should be a major reconstruction of parties. New parties should emerge, and the dividing lines will be different between what he called those forces that are pro-migration and those forces that are anti-migration. But in generally, when you see the daily politics, this is the forces who are looking for a more federalist Europe, wants to see more European integration, and those who would like to have more control of the nations, more sovereign forces. This is the dividing line, and actually numbers suggest there will be no major change in the political setup of
Daniel, would you consider Dominik a radical within this context?
I would suggest that he responds more to a kind of Central European sentiment and Central European opinions about the future of Europe. But he belongs to a party that is characterized as radical in Europe right now. Still, this is still not the mainstream if we see the numbers, and he is he's deeply conservative. I would characterize him not. There are much more radical forces than.
I'd like to answer.
Go ahead, Dominik.
Okay, basically, if history is radical, I'm radical, because history is very clear. This continent, Europe, was Christian, was built on Christianity, by the culture, by the faith, by the law. So if history is radical, I'm radical.
Okay.
Radical, it doesn't mean
Dominik, that wasn't
homophobic,
that wasn't
doesn't mean
smooth sailing,
populist,
right?
doesn't mean nationalist.
Dominik, it wasn't smooth sailing, right? There were decades in which there was tremendous butchery and bloodshed as well, right? So it had ups and downs, and history is not a linear thing. Yes, fundamentally, Christianity is deeply rooted within the continent, fair enough. But you're also painting a very rosy picture of the past.
If we are looking for the values, if we are looking for the values, we have to build on the values. Our value is Christianity with the culture, with the faith, with the law. And we don't want. Okay, let's go to the point. We don't want Soros in Poland. We don't want any lobbyists to take care about our democracy. We don't want any lobbyists to take care about freedom, our freedom. We don't want Soros to build his media, the way he wants us to live. We want to be, and we are a proud Polish nation, Christian nation.
Help me
we want
understand,
to
Dominik,
take care about our children and about
how,
our grandchildren. We want to save them from this madness which was started by Angela Merkel with illegal immigrants. And this is what I'm going to do in the European Parliament.
Okay, in a nutshell, can you help me understand how Soros is trying to destroy your society? Because a lot of the time, this just seems to be a mythical boogeyman.
As he does it in any other place in the world. What he does, he's financing media. As you know, the media is a fourth power. That's number one. He's financing NGOs, right? So non-governmental organizations, which are leftists in 100%, fighters, I would say. They fight everywhere where the conservatives winning elections. He's trying to influence the elections in many countries. He wants to rule the world. Thank God, not for long. He's not going to stay with us for long. I'm not wishing him anything like that, but he's not going to take care of it. I know some people will stay and try to finance it, but we have to fight against it. And I'm going to fight against it in Europe for my grandson and next generations. It's not a big word, it's just a fact. When you see what he does in many different places in the world, it's just terrifying. Democracy is a beautiful system, but without Soros.
So Daniel, we've heard Dominik's criticism of George Soros and what he attributes to Soros's influence, and we're hearing similar things from the Hungarians. Help me understand what that means from your perspective.
From my perspective, it means that you always need a scapegoat, and he is a perfect scapegoat to characterize. I mean, he's supporting all those organizations that are raising their voices for human rights, raising their voices of media freedom, for anti-corruption, and well, these organizations are very uncomfortable for governments like the Orban government because they are basically becoming the opposition in a country where the opposition doesn't really work, because they are the one raising those concerns.
So he's a politician now.
No, he's not a politician. The thing is, he's not present really in Hungary, and very often things attributed to Soros or organizations.
Why he's not present in Germany against Angela Merkel? Why he's not present in Sweden? Why he's not present in Norway? Why he's not present in any leftist state? Why he's only present in...
By the way, Dominik, he's present because those organizations are there and they are doing their activities as well in those countries. The problem is that I don't think the corruption is so deep problem there than in our societies. It is a problem. It is a problem. Human rights is a problem. Your government...
Okay, he wants to be the master of puppets. He will never be the master of puppets in Poland. Soros will never be the master of puppets in Poland, ever.
Well, I'm not a politician, so I can't really comment this. So.
Okay, Daniel, I want a final answer in terms of just looking at the political...
Sorry, that's what he's trying to do.
Okay,
he's trying
you don't want
to
him
take
to be
over
the
the
puppet
nations.
master. Okay, you believe he wants to be the puppet master. Daniel disagrees with you. Daniel, I want to ask you how things might transpire here. So, if FIDESZ leaves the EPP, obviously they might join the other grouping, right? Such as making an alliance with Dominik and others. If they stay, are we likely to see other more centrist parties go and join other groupings? So either way, is there going to be a shakeup?
Well, not necessary, because EPP was a broad coalition of very different parties already, and it's not unique. I mean, think about the socialists, where the Smer, which was very often criticized, is still a member. Think about ALDE, which has members like Andrej Babiš from the Czech Republic. So these are very loose coalition of parties in the European level. It's not the same system as a party system within a country. So if they can sort out some of the problems, there is a chance that FIDESZ might stay and they will be able to work together, because these differences were there for many, many years. Now, there is also a chance that they leave. Already, Dominik claimed that he will join ECR. Other groups, ENF, also claimed that he will join ENF. I don't think... Probably. Yeah, but I don't think we are talking about ECR as it is now, or ENF as it is now. I think there will be kind of real changes on those parties. Some of them will merge, some of them will move from one group to another group. So if this is the case, this will be a larger different ECR different values, with different parties, with different issues. But there are issues that I think, and let's talk about for a moment for ECR, that ECR will have to sort out, because if there are internal problems in EPP, there would be internal problems in an ECR joined by Viktor Orban and Matteo Salvini, because let's put one thing on the agenda, Russia question, how they think about Russia. Would you share how these parties and these politicians think about cooperation with Russia and the position with Russia? So it's not that clear how can they work together and what will happen when real issues come up, like redistribution of migrants, because Matteo Salvini would like to do that. You heard that Poland and Hungary would never support something like that. So there are questions that would be the problem in the more national radical right as well, if they would try to work together.
Understood. Okay, I've got to wrap. And Daniel, it's good that you pointed that out. They might be united on immigration, but divided over issues like Russia. Very finally, last 20 seconds of the segment. Dominik, you're running, it seems, highly probably that you are. What's your campaign slogan? Give us the line.
Save Poland.
Okay.
Make Europe great again.
Okay.
And I'd like to say thank you very much, Mr. President, to President Donald Trump.
Okay. Save Poland, make Europe great again. Dominik Tarczynski and Daniel Bartha, pleasure having you both on the Newsmakers. Thanks for joining us.